where we are dedicated to promoting the Nigerian hustle. On today's episode, we are pleased to welcome Mr. Bankole Banjo to our program. He's a mind coach, but that's really not it. He has an arsenal of professional experiences behind him, including hospitality, hotel management, construction, clothing, event production. Basically, he's a jack of all trades, and he's used all those different experiences to find his own purpose. And what's beautiful about it is that now he's helping others find their own. So please give a warm Gbawo welcome to Mr. Banjo. Thank you so much for being on the program, sir.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, great. So I'm sure everyone is interested in how you, at this young age that you are, did all those things. But let's start from the beginning. Let's give the audience a little background. Can you just please briefly tell us when and where you were born?
Okay, I was born in Lagos. I was born in Lagos on the 12th of June, 1980.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. And can you just give us a little bit of general information about your parents?
My parents, well, my dad is late, but my mom is still alive. Yeah. My dad used to be a businessman. At some point, he went into politics, and then afterwards, fell ill, and we lost him. So my mom is still alive, and she's about 70. She's going to be 72 this year.
Wow, congratulations to her.
Thank you.
Have you always grown up in Lagos? Have you always been, your childhood was mostly in Lagos?
Yes, I started my childhood in Lagos, and then I moved with my dad to our hometown during my secondary school year. I did half of my secondary school in Lagos and then completed in my hometown with my dad. And then I did also my university in the same Ogun State, our hometown, at the Olabisi Banjo University. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have brothers and sisters?
Yeah, a lot of them.
Where are you in the order?
I'm number 9.
Okay, okay.
I'm number 9,
wow.
Yeah.
And you're not the last?
No, I'm not. I have about three younger ones.
Okay, growing up with all those brothers and sisters, could you just tell us if you have any particular happy or fond childhood memories?
Yeah, it's it's a polygamous home, and then I can remember there's one interesting thing that happens is back then we had a generator that the generator can only power 2 ACs in the house. So when we put on the generator, the boys have a separate room, the girls also have a separate room, and then so we wait for my dad to put on his own AC. So when he puts on, and then we both now start. So we put on the 2 ACs at the same time and then start to watch who's going to turn off their own because the generator will start going. So we did that competition a lot.
Who usually win that competition?
Well,
boys or the girls?
Both sides. Sometimes girls win, sometimes you give it.
That sounds fun. Okay. So you mentioned that you were born in 1980. A lot of things have changed in Nigeria since then. What do you miss most about growing up in that time period?
At that time, well, we didn't have to worry so much about security. Yeah, it's a big problem now. We didn't have to worry so much about that. We're free to do whatever we want. We're free to move around states. We're free to move around the country. So that's something that I miss. Now people live in fear. You don't know what's going to happen next. It's a big challenge. Do you understand? So what can we do?
So you're describing a peaceful, happy, fun-filled, competitive childhood.
Yeah. Yes.
What
yes.
were your interests back then, if you can remember? What were you interested in?
What I was interested in. I've always pictured myself while I was young, that I'm always sitting behind the desk and talking to people. I don't know, I just picture myself sitting behind the desk and talking to people, advising them and stuff like that. Well, I've been known to be a quiet person right from childhood. And I don't look for trouble. Unlike my other siblings, where my dad has, I don't look for trouble. I'm just always calm. Yeah. So basically, that's it for me.
Okay. So let's talk a bit about your educational trajectory. You mentioned a bit about your
Yeah.
secondary school. Do you remember where you went to primary school?
I can't remember exactly the dates.
Okay.
But yeah, I can't remember the exact dates. But I went to 2 primary schools, I went to 2 secondary schools, and I went to 1 university.
Okay, 221.
2 to 1. Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell us a bit about you said that at secondary school, you went to stay with your dad in Ogun State.
Yeah.
What do you remember about that transition from Lagos to Ogun State?
Okay, I think what happened was when I was in senior secondary school 2, almost to the next final year, then my dad had to relocate to his hometown to pursue his political career. And then we had to go with him. I had to go with him. So I just disappeared from my former school. I didn't go back, and then I was enrolled in new school. Though I struggled a bit. I struggled a bit at that period because it was a big switch for me. It was completely different from what I was doing in Lagos and what was happening there. I struggled a bit, but eventually I finished and then moved on.
Good, good. In secondary school, sometimes that's where you kind of meet some teachers that have an impact, both positive and negative sometimes. Do you have any memory of a teacher that took an interest in you or made a positive impact in your life, encouraged you at that stage?
I wouldn't say I don't think I can pinpoint any particular one, because I didn't stay so much with it was just AFNAC. But I know a particular teacher that I believe was very, 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 very sound. Our Greek teacher. The man while teaching you, he teaches everything offhand, and he writes a lot. And teaches everything offhand. No notes, nothing. And I guess it's not something that I find amusing. When it gets to a point while teaching, he'll just say digression, and then he'll talk about something else for a long time. And comes back again. And then comes back. He does that a lot. And he comes back again. He starts writing. Unlike other teachers that come with a note, and he doesn't. Never comes with a note. So I find that very, very interesting.
And it seems like just to digress a bit, you took a bit from that because all your social media videos that you do, it seems like you don't have any notes or anything.
Yeah.
So
yeah, maybe I got it from there.
You made an impact. All right.
Yeah.
To university. Before you started university, what was your state of mind when you finished secondary school? Can you remember what you wanted out of life and what you wanted to pursue at the university stage?
Okay, back then for almost all the kids, when they ask you what do you want to do when you grow up, you all want to be doctors, right? Because that was what came to mind. Yeah, I want to be doctors. But when I wrote JAM, and the JAM wasn't giving me what I wanted. So I think I did JAM like twice. I did JAM like twice, and I didn't even get up to the cutoff mark. So I had to do an alternative program called data processing. So from data processing was when I got into computer science. So eventually I did computer science, studied WBS in computer science. So that's what I graduated with.
Okay. And where did you attend university?
Olabisi Onabanjo University. Used to be Ogun State University.
Okay.
But now it's Olabisi Onabanjo University.
Yeah. All right. If you can cast your mind back, that must be early 2000s, 90s. What were you like as a person if we were to meet you at that university stage? What would our experience of you be like?
Well, a very quiet person. Even though I like having conversations with friends and making them laugh and stuff like that, just keep them. But I'm a very quiet person. I just from home, go to school. Social life is like for me. So, so yeah, so I'm just like that. Go to school, come back home, and just be with my dad. Yeah, so that's it. That's it for me.
Okay. In university, what were some of your favorite courses that you took, if you can recall?
When we did computer science, it was interesting because as a computer scientist, you're supposed to run computer programs and all. All of those things were taught on the blackboard. We're running programs on the blackboard. How are we going to understand how the programs run on the blackboard when we're supposed to be using computers?
Yeah.
So we did a lot of those things, and then I think my best course then will probably be there's one of these programs that we used to write there. Maybe COBOL. They call it COBOL. All those things don't exist anymore. We call it COBOL or something like that. All of those things don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Because things have moved on, life has changed, and a lot of things have evolved.
Computer science, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So after university, can you just give us a brief summary of what you then went on to pursue?
Okay, when I finished my university and then did NYSC, I first went I wanted to pursue a career as in IT initially. Initially, I wanted to do that. So I did a course on database management. I did the course on database management. And afterwards, I got a job. I got a job in the bank. So that's where I started my career. So get a job in the bank, and then a year and 9 months later, they asked us to go. It was it was like there was a lot of restructuring in the banking system. So bank MDs were taken out, and then I think the first thing they did was to cut down on the overhead costs. So they wrote us a four-page letter, giving us a lot of reasons why we should sign our own resignation and just leave the job. So that's why I keep telling people that we were forced to resign and leave the job. So that was where I started. Yeah.
How did you deal with that mentally? Because especially in Nigeria, there's certain professions that everybody's parents are happy when their child is engaged in that: banking, engineering, medicine, and law. And you, at a young age, had managed to get a prestigious job, and you probably felt like you had some security and the social status that went along with that. When that was kind of taken away from you, how did you adjust? How did you recover mentally?
Okay. I'll give you a little background of what happened during that almost 2 years working. There was a lot of pressure on us young bankers trying to mobilize deposits into the bank. And then something else also happening in the bank. Then there were a lot of policies that were coming in. There were a lot of policy change in the system. So it was causing a bit of confusion. So when we were asked to leave, two things happened to me. One, I felt a sign of relief. And then two, I started having a headache. Because the next line of thought was, what am I going to do next? So what I had to do was, before we were asked to leave, my brother offered me and told me that we should go to the US vacation. I said I wasn't going to go, that I had to be on the job. I've not been confirmed. I've not done this and all of that. So I stayed back. I was pushing the job, and then I said, stop working. That's you should not go. So the first thing I did was to call him and say, is that offer still available? So then I said, yeah. So I just took my bag and then just left. So I felt relief for the whole pressure that was on me, and at the same time started having a headache on what to do next with my life. So basically that was what happened at that time.
Okay. And then you mentioned from there, Was it the same brother who had a hotel that he was managing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you were also helping him with that. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Okay. Let me give you the story, my journey after the bank until now, right? So when we left the bank, at that time, he also was a banker, a top executive in the bank. And then he had a hotel, a 16-room hotel, and he had some people managing it, but I think they weren't doing it so well. So when I lost the job, he told me I should not worry, he's going to give me another job and all that. So that's how I got into managing the hotel, 16-room hotel. And then a year later, we acquired another one, which is a 40-room hotel, bigger hotel. So I was managing 2 hotels, right? And then I had 0 experience. I had to force myself to learn how to, because he wasn't available because he was running his banker. He had a lot of responsibility on him. So I was training myself on how to run the hotels. And afterwards, we went into trading of home finishing products, where he imports sanitary wares, doors, tiles, all of those things. So we're in that again. Brought in more people, so we're doing all of that. Afterwards, he also started outdoor catering. Started doing outdoor catering. After that, we now opened our first restaurant. Opened the first restaurant, and then while doing that again, we now went into. Before then, he had some properties. We're managing properties. So after that, we added the management of the properties into that. At some point, we also went into construction for some people. We did construction for some people. Then we continued. Then afterwards, we also went into clothing. We got a franchise from a brand called Grosvenor in the UK. So we're doing that as well. At some point, we also started photography. We're doing photography at some point. We have a photo studio. Even though we stopped the photo studio because the challenge with photography is that most photographers are the face of the brand, and most times when they go out, they are in contact with, and then a lot of them are not so honest. So from there, we lost interest in that business, and we just said, let's just shut that one down. So after that, also we went into manufacturing of snack food. We're doing flavored drink and some snacks called Popsy. We're doing that as well, and then went into cleaning service. Cleaning service came up. I think cleaning service came up during. No, it was hot before, but we had to invest more during COVID. We had to invest more during COVID. Well, before we went into that cleaning service, we started event production, light stage sound, LED screens. So I was in the process of all of this, managing and growing these businesses, going all through the troubles, going all through. There's a lot of high points and a lot of low points managing and growing these businesses. So up until this year, January, when I said I think I can no longer give what I've been given for the past 12 years managing these businesses. That I need to go and then find my own path, because I've developed so much interest in coaching and helping people, right? So I now told you that I had to leave. So that's my journey from the bank to what I now like to do.
Is there any industry you have not been involved in? You covered it all.
Yeah, not all exactly. But recently, I'm working with a telecoms partner. We're working with a telecoms partner. So
of course,
industry is growing. I'll probably touch everywhere eventually.
Okay, and you said that although it's wonderful that you got all these experiences and you've had so many diversified life experiences, you've probably networked with so many different people, helped people in different industries. Of course, that can be very stressful for the person managing it. You're talking about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different companies and everything that comes along with that. You said at one point you got kind of depressed and you went to go and visit an old banking manager, and you said he gave you a kind of critical piece of advice. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. Okay. So along the line, while I was managing and growing these businesses, there was a lot of pressure on me to deliver, right? Revenue-wise, standard-wise, all of those things, and I had to force myself to learn new businesses. If we're starting a new business and I'm pushed there, I have to learn how that works. So there was a lot of pressure coming on there. And then, sometimes these pressures come with some certain kind of words have been used sometimes when you're a job working with some people, those things were hurting me, and then again, I wanted something else for myself. So it got to a point, I wasn't happy on the job anymore. I wasn't happy running that race anymore. The energy started dropping as it was going, the energy started dropping for me, right? It started dropping for me. So it got to a point I was really depressed, where sometimes I just go sit in my car in front of there's a lake in Abuja here, and I cry for hours. I don't know what to think. I don't know how to think. I don't even know what or where my life is going. You understand? Even though I have a job, even though I'm getting paid, but I wasn't happy. I wasn't fulfilled. You understand? So we got a point where I couldn't hold that again within me. It was telling on me. It was obvious. It was telling so much on me. So I went to see that my former branch manager when I was in the bank. Was a fantastic man then. He's someone that's really, really energetic, easy to talk to. You understand? So I went to meet him, and then when I got to his office, he looked at me and said, "Banky, are you okay?" And I said, "I hope so." And then he asked me to sit. So he said, "What is the problem?" Before I could speak, I started crying. And then he got up, he locked his door, and then gave me a tissue. I said, "What is it?" I said, "I don't know that. I just want to go." He said, "Okay, do I want to work somewhere else?" I said, "I don't know. I just want to go. Do I want to start my own business?" I said, "I don't know. I just want to go." So he now said, "Okay, that this is what's going to do. That there is a seminar in the UK that he's going to send me on that trip, that when I get back, then I'll come back and tell him what I want to do." Right? Now, before I left his office, he said to me that, "Look, this time, don't back out on me." Because apparently that was like the fourth time he was offering me this. But I was consumed. Honestly, I was consumed with work. I don't have the time. I have to work. It was the work we were doing was, especially for the event production, it was intense, day and night. I'm not sure there is any holiday that I'm not on one stage somewhere around town somewhere. I've never, most times not with my family. The New Year, we're doing Christmas, I'm always somewhere on one stage, we run through the night and all. So I keep saying that I have to work that. So he told me, "Don't back out on me." But at that time, my mind was made up that there was nothing anyone was going to tell me. So I said, okay, that I wasn't going to back down. At that time, my passport had expired, and then I had to go renew the passport first. So before I went on the trip, I now sent, so he told me that before I resigned my job, that I should come back from the trip first. But I couldn't hold it. I couldn't hold it. And then I sent a message to my brother. I told him that by, I told him that by December, I think I was around September, by December, that I was going to leave to start something else with my life. That I don't know what I'm going to do, but I just want something else. I just want to go and leave the environment. He was upset, but I didn't care because I didn't care. I just kept on doing the job. Let me just give it 3 months notice. When I'm done, let me just go, So along the line, when he noticed that I didn't care, he also now came around again. So I had to now tell him that someone has sponsored me to go for a trip, to go for a seminar in London. So I told him the person paid for the visa, the hotel, seminar fee, flights, and paid for all of this. Yeah, so he paid. So my brother also now supported he gave me some money also, to go for that trip. So I left for the seminar. It was on a Friday, started on a Friday. I got there on a Thursday. It was starting on Friday to Sunday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And then I heard things I've never heard in my life. Things they don't teach in school. Things that it's a privilege. I would say it's like a privilege for someone to get that, especially coming from Nigeria, for someone to get that kind of information. It's easier for people outside of here because of their upbringing with their thoughts and then culture and all of this. It's easier for them. But for us here, it's a bit more like a privilege if you get that information. So what happened was, within 3 days, I was like someone in the dark, in a room that is so dark that even if you look at your skin, you can't even see it. And then you're trying to move around. There are lots of obstacles along the way. You're trying to move around. That was how I was. I wouldn't pray any human being to be in that position. I wouldn't pray for that. That's why I'll do everything that I can to help as many people as I can. Right? So within that 3 days, it was like someone just put on the lights, and everywhere was so bright, and I can see every aspect of my life. I can see where I was going. I can see the obstacles on my way. I can see how to maneuver around every single thing. So that was what happened to me. And then my energy went from 0 to 10,000. It was super high. I was super energetic. You know what that thing did to me. If you're not careful as a human being, you probably tend to believe that there is no God, that you can do every single thing by yourself. That is how high energy was in me, if you're not careful. So that was what happened, and then I came back, was super excited, was energy, I was just pumping up everybody, a lot of energy. I had to go back to the system, because now I have clarity on how things are happening. All of those things that happened to me was coming from the way I was thinking, was coming from my mindset, all of those things. So I had a better understanding of that. So when I got back, we kept on with the business. I was going, and then the following year was 2020. So before 2020, during the seminar, they also talked about a course called Train the Trainer, which I was super excited because I wanted to teach people. And they now showed me this is how you can do it. So I paid for the course, and we were supposed to do it in 2020 in Germany. And then Corona came. Yeah, so nothing would happen. So for a long time, nothing would happen. And then I kept on to a year, and then 2020 went on again, 2021, still doing the business. But again, and I started having that same feeling I was having before I went for that trip. And I said, at this point in time, it is better for me to just go and find something else to do, and also allow other people. So I had to send him another message that I think at this point I can no longer give what I've been given for the past 12 years. That it's better for me to give other people opportunity to also grow, because I was like the number 2 in the of the system then. So, and I said it's better for me to also allow other people to take that position and grow in the system, so I can also focus on what I truly know, what I truly do. And then we both agreed, and so yeah, I'm today. Yeah.
That's an amazing, amazing story. And so many things had to happen and had to be helped by your branch manager, even by your brother, to experience that wonderful seminar. But I have a question. For those people, especially in Nigeria, who may also be feeling like you did, lost, overwhelmed, depressed, and there's no realistic avenue for them to pursue a course abroad or seminar abroad to gain this wonderful clarity. Do you have any advice on what they can do to kind of streamline their own purpose as well?
Okay. Well, number one is you should contact me. They should. And then number two, the most important thing is that one, even though the environment might seem unfriendly, even though people tend to compare their lives to other people's lives, which is sometimes overwhelming. And then what leads to everything we do in this life is what we think about, our thoughts. creates our life, right? Because your thoughts will lead to the way you feel. And that's going to lead to the action you take. And eventually you see it from the results. So if your thoughts is not supporting your growth, it's going to make you feel some kind of way. And then that will lead to the action you're going to take. If you're thinking about great things happening, you're seeing results, you'll be super excited. You're always going, you're always going. But if it's going the wrong way, you're going to feel horrible. And then you're going to try to you see people trying to go into their shell. Before you know, people get depressed and then try to harm themselves. You know? So what I'll suggest is let them just find help, talk to people, just open up and talk to people. Because a lot of things that we bottle up and think and create thoughts in our heads are so much negative energy that is holding and keeping us down. You need to speak to people. Just talk, just open up. Sometimes it lightens thoughts, you know. But they should be careful the kind of people they talk to. They should be careful the kind of people they talk to. So don't give them the wrong advice. You find people that they know that this is what they do. They just speak to people. Just speak. It's important to speak. It's important to speak.
It is very much important to speak. Even when people think, oh, you have a job, you should be happy. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
We should be entitled to say dissatisfaction, even when people might think you have something. You shouldn't be judged for speaking your own truth. But kind of getting back to your business, and we're going to delve more into mind coaching, what all that means.
Yeah.
When did you officially launch?
Okay. When I got back from that trip from the UK, I did my first seminar in 2020, January. Yeah, I did that in January, you know. So I did a couple, I think I've done about 4 now. I think I've done about 4 from now. That was when I started coaching people professionally. So from then up until when I now said, let me just leave. Because the way I am wired, there was too much distraction. I won't be able to focus so much on that job and also build my own career. It was one of the reasons I said it's better for me to go. Even though my brother offered me that I can still be working there and still do the same. But the way I'm wired, if I'm with you, I'm with you, right? So it was becoming a problem for me to say, because I'm thinking, I'm getting paid doing this job. I can't be using your own time to run my own business. Even if you feel okay with it, but I am not okay with it. So I started, so up until January this year, and I said, let me go fully on my own and then just do this.
And it's exploded and done wonderfully well, especially your social media, which we'll talk about. But your Instagram page describes you, among other descriptions, as a mind coach. For those of us who are unfamiliar with what that means, can you just give us a brief synopsis of what that would entail?
Okay. Now, I chose that title for myself because I realized that your mind is super powerful. It can create and build human being, and it can also destroy a human being, right? If you're able to master how the mind works, then you can create and do whatever you want and whatever kind of life you desire for yourself. You can create it by yourself, with God on your side. That's why I chose that, to see how I can teach people on how to control their thoughts, how to manage their thoughts, and how to create thoughts that's going to help them grow, supportive thoughts and all. That's why I chose that, to use that.
Okay. Let's delve into mind self-development practices. You know, Nigerians were the best people in the world. We're the smartest, the best dressers, best athletes. You all over the world in a top position, you're going to find a Nigerian there. That's just it. However, sometimes due to our cultural dynamics and things that are taboo in our culture, mental health, anything to do with the mind, people are already maybe stepping back. How would you market the benefits of something like this, going into mind coaching, self-development, to the typical average Nigerian, that they can get a benefit out of it?
Okay, now, you know, most people now there's a big advocacy for mental health. But the challenge with those 2 words It's that in Nigeria, when you hear mental, it's a problem.
Yes.
It's a problem. So people try to dissociate themselves with it.
Yes.
Right? So it's a big challenge using that word. So that I don't promote that word as much, right?
Okay.
I would rather tell you how to control your thoughts and how to control your emotions that leads to everything that you do. So I push more on that rather than talking about the mental health, just because in Nigeria, because we had even musicians have done songs called Polo Mental, and get stuff like that, and they're thinking, and the picture they're painting is someone running mad. Do you understand? So
yeah.
So I don't push so much using that to words. I would rather talk about your emotions and all. Yeah.
I think for your consumer base, that's a smart strategy. But speaking of Nigerians as well, in the religious sense, Nigerians, maybe more than other cultures you might find sometimes, are very Nigerian, very religious, can be very religious.
Yeah.
No matter what your faith. And that can be a great thing, giving you foundation, giving you something to kind of check yourself and your actions. But sometimes people are wary of getting into other types of help or other types of comforts because they feel that it may detract from their religious beliefs. You just now said that you need to put God in the middle of everything. God can help you forge a way forward. How can you give people some belief that these two things aren't in competition with each other?
Okay. All right. Now, there is something that people also need to understand, that there's a difference between spirituality and religion. I respect people's belief. Whatever you choose to believe, I respect it. Most people have a supreme being that they believe in, right? Now your connection to that supreme being is spirituality. My own understanding is that religion teaches you the moral and how to be a great human being and also help other human beings, and also teaches morality and all. So each time when I do trainings or seminars, I try as much as possible to explain this to people. Now, recently I did a training for bank staff, and then a lady raised a question because the bank she works, they do more on Islamic kind of banking. Some of their products are in Arabic. The pronunciation is in Arabic. So she was asking me when I said that she's supposed to know all the products that they have in the bank, and then she said that she's a Christian. And then my question is, there is nothing, your religion has nothing to do with the products you're trying to sell, because it is just Arabic. Arabic is just a language. So now people need to understand some of these things, so it doesn't affect your thoughts. Now, this is someone that has taken a job. You took a job in that bank because it's what they do. But now you're saying you are a Christian, but it's okay for you to take that job. But it's not okay for you to learn that language, just the products that you're selling. You understand? So we need to be able to explain to people properly how to separate religion from their spirituality. People don't get confused, and then so it doesn't seem like a competition between whatever religion is. Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk a bit about the process. Let's say that I came to you in need of mind coaching services. I want to streamline my thoughts, get more clarity. What can I expect when I start working with you? What kind of things are we going to start doing towards achieving my goal?
Okay. The first thing I do for anyone that comes to me is I ask them, what exactly do you want for yourself? Because in life, people don't get what they want usually for two reasons. One, they don't know what they want. And two, they don't even know why they want it. Even if they know what they want, they don't know why they want it.
True.
So if I ask you, what exactly do you want? If you tell me, then I will now tell you and I'll guide you if your thoughts is along the line of what you truly want. Most times, what people want is the end result. So your mind is channeled towards the end result. Whereas your mind is supposed to be channeled towards the source, which is going to lead to that end result. For example, someone saying that, I say, what do you want? They say, I just want a lot of money. Okay, where's that going to come from? Money comes from solving a problem for someone, right? If you're going to solve a problem for someone, you need to have a skill, knowledge of something, or an experience in something. So the first thing you need is to have that knowledge. So your focus goes to, can I acquire this knowledge so that I can help solve other people's problems, so that I can get paid for solving that problem. So that same process also applies to every aspect of our life. We've seen people say that I want a husband. I'm looking for a husband. That's not what you truly want. You want a companion, someone, you want a man, right? You want a man that can have conversations with, right? Someone you're going to be comfortable with. And eventually it might lead to what? Getting married to this person. That's what you want. Because if you don't have that, you won't get that husband. If you continue to look for that husband, at any slightest mention of marriage, you jump into it. And most times it becomes a problem for people. So people need to know. So that's how I guide people. That's where we start from. Knowing exactly what you want. Because every single human being they have aspirations, they have what they want for themselves in life. But what I do is to guide you properly so you can achieve that your desires that you want for yourself. And then also explain to you how the mind works, how our thoughts lead to the action we take, and also affects our feelings and leads to everything that we do in life. Okay. That's how I take the process.
Okay. So how do you track one of your clients' progress?
Asking questions.
Asking.
You do ask questions, feedback, let's see what's going on, what's the next step, what have you done so far? You keep track on all of that. And most times, in fact, there's no single person that I've had interactions with that has not been super excited having a conversation with me. No single person so far.
Okay.
No.
So someone who's open and willing to speak might be a requirement, maybe.
The thing is this. When people come to me, right, I make them feel really comfortable that you don't have a choice but to speak. You don't have a choice but to speak. I've had a lot of people come to me, and this is their first companion, the tissue box. I've had a lot of people come to me, and they just come to speak and then they cry, and because I make them feel very comfortable. When you understand where people are coming from, there are certain things and there are certain words that you use that make them feel comfortable, and then they are ready to speak and open up to you. And then you guide them on the right information. And most times what I tell people, when I do trainings, is that you do not have to believe anything that I tell you. Because the things I'm going to be teaching you is from my own experience. It doesn't make it right, it doesn't make it wrong. It doesn't make it true and it doesn't make it false. Just my experience, right? So you can choose to believe it or not.
Okay.
So
you're not just focused on people, you actually also can help companies. In Nigeria, it's good to be a worker in Nigeria, an employee in Nigeria, but sometimes it can be tough. What are the biggest complaints or areas of improvement that people come to you with when they're working for companies or startups, things like that?
Okay. There are two sides to it. One side is the employee side, and the other side is the business side, right? Now, coming from the experience that I've had managing and growing these businesses, all of the mistakes that I've made and all of those things while growing up, and things that have worked, things that didn't work. These are part of the things that I teach. I teach people as well. So I teach them on that side. But ultimately, everything you want to do and achieve in this life still requires an interaction with another human being. And then the employee, we all have a lot of distractions. So if you don't get them to understand how to manage their own life properly, then the attention on the job also will be limited. So it's important you also help the employees understand how to manage their work and manage their life so they can focus on the job. There are too many distractions right now. So basically that is how I help organizations.
Okay, all right. Let's go through a typical day in the life of a mind coach. Can you give us a basic rundown of when you wake up to when you kind of close down for the day, your major tasks that you get accomplished, including your social media as well?
Okay. When I wake up, after praying, I talk to my wife, and then prepare for work, and then my kids. Especially for my daughter, we have a secret handshake. That secret handshake she must get to before we go. So, she does something like, tap this, tap like this, pump, and then she gives, yeah, so the secret. Like hug, and then before every day, it's do that every day before I go to work. And then I get to my office. First of all, we check and see the clients and the people that I've had previous conversations with, and see how to pick up from there. And then also do marketing on new clients and the people we can also help with. And once a week, I also do broadcast on my phone, say some things to people, things to encourage and motivate people. I send that out sometimes. Sometimes I send funny stuff to people, just keep the engagement. When you focus too much on just speaking, doing his motivation and all of those things, you get tired of it. So we need to mix it up with with a lot of things. And then aside that, organizations that I work with as well, I also visit those places, have conversations, and measure performance and growth. And basically, that's how I run the day. But most importantly, I enjoy throughout the day just talking to people and see that this person I'm having a conversation with is happy. That's my goal. Just happy. At the end of the day, once you're happy, I'm happy. Yeah.
Love it. Let's talk about social media for a bit. Your social media presence should really be commended because you're super consistent across many platforms and the message is short and succinct but memorable. Can you give us a little bit of insight of how you determined that, for my business to grow even more, I have to put my face out there?
Okay. In 2016, I started writing quotes, short quotes that I post on my phone. I started writing short quotes. So in 2018 thereabouts, someone told me that why don't I put it together, as a book. And then I thought of it, and then I did something, and then I put it together. I came up with a book called How I See It, which is literally from my experience, the way I see things, and then my interpretation to those things. So I put it together there. And then for the social media, this was how I started. Was there was a time while I was managing these businesses. One of my brother's wife, she has a store where she sells luxury bags and shoes and all. So we wanted to put it on social media. And then people were buying a lot of social media accounts. So we bought the account. I think it had about 11,000 something followers there. So I started using that, and then the thing wasn't going the way we wanted. So I converted it to putting up those my posts. But I wasn't getting the response that I wanted. So one day I just woke up and then deleted the old 11,000. So I started from zero. I started from zero in 2021. I started from zero, and I started posting my content. I don't like writing so much.
Yeah.
Because things I can put in short words and people get to understand it. It's okay for me. Let me just put it in short words. People understand it and they get the message. So that's how I started doing that. Up until now, but we're still growing it. Yeah.
It's very effective. What advice do you have for someone who's selling bags, who has a business that they want to promote on social media, or who's just like you, has a message that they want to get out there, but they're kind of shy to put themselves forward. Do you have any advice for those people?
All right. Now, it is normal for any human being. When you want to try something new, that fear will always come in, right? But if you're determined, I'm taking it or decided that this is what you want to do, right? And making a success out of it is the end goal. Then nothing should stop you, right? A lot of people are so shy of doing that because of criticism, because they are comparing themselves to what the professionals are doing. And then you're looking at what you're doing and say, I'm not sure mine is going to be good enough. Don't let me post it. But whatever you're selling to anyone, whatever you're pushing out to anyone, there is still someone that will be interested that will listen to it, regardless of how horrible you think it might look. Someone is still going to listen to you. And after that, you're going to learn from there. You're going to learn from there. You're going to grow and grow and grow until you become a super professional on how to do this. So it's a process for everyone. All I'll just tell them is just keep at it. It doesn't matter if anybody is saying you're good at it or not good at it. What matters is that I'm just pushing my information out and I'm learning this process and I'm learning to grow my business. And basically, you'll see over time, you get used to it. It's just like I'm sure the first time you try to do you know how to drive a car, right?
Yes.
Now, remember the first time I want to drive a car, and the first thing that pops up to mind is, how am I going to manage and look at all of these mirrors at the same time? And then, draw look at the back, look everywhere. And then now, it's going to be the same you that when you're driving, you're like this, everyone's your phone, and people do a lot of stuff. So these things we learn over time, and then we get used to it. So the same thing with if you want to manage and do videos and do all of these things. Yeah.
Very true. Okay, let's talk about how people can get use of your services. First question: you are based in Abuja, but we're doing this interview on Zoom. Are there any geographic limitations that would prevent you from working with anybody at this point?
At this point, no. Whatever the problem is, we go there. It requires me going there. Go there. We move around. There's some. If you want to work with an organization and probably they're in Port Harcourt or in Lagos or in Kano, you probably have to go there. Probably have to go there to have these meetings. For some, it might be via video calls and stuff like this. But there's no limitation to where I can reach, even outside of the country, as long as the service is needed there. We'll move.
Okay. If someone just stumbles upon, hopefully, this video or your page and they're interested, what are the steps to getting in contact with you and then setting up a consultation, I guess?
And the first thing is just send me a message. If it's on social media, just send me a message and you get a response immediately. We have conversations. Most times what I do is to give people like a 30 minutes free conversation with me. So you can decide whether you want to work with me or not. So after speaking for 30 minutes, if you feel that you're comfortable working with me, then we can proceed from there. If not, it's okay, congratulations, you can move on. Fine with it. Not everybody must like what I do.
Okay. You mentioned 30 minutes free, but in general, how affordable are your services? I have to ask.
No, it is very affordable, but it depends on what I'm working on. I'm a bit lenient on when it involves things that affect the emotions, right? Because I understand the pain that comes with that. So I tend to not to charge so much on that aspect. But if we are talking about growing a business, then we know that we're getting a lot of responses. So that we can. So I'm a little bit lenient on that there. Until when I know that the individual is fine, then we can ask more. Yeah. So that's how I work.
Okay. And you said that you're basically the quote guy, the quote master. So I found a few quotes or things that you have posted that I thought were really interesting that I would like more information about. So I'm just gonna highlight two of them. I'm gonna read them to you and maybe give us some more information about it. Okay. You once wrote in 2022, this year, when last did you celebrate yourself? Doesn't matter what it is, just do it with a big laugh. smiley face emoji to your success. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
All right. Now, like I said earlier, people take a lot of their time to compare their own lives with other people's lives. When you're supposed to be competing with yourself yesterday and said, am I growing? What have I done yesterday? Is it becoming better today? And just celebrate that milestone. Right. You might think that what I've done is insignificant to some people, but a whole lot of other people are still finding it very difficult to even try to do it. You get? Sometimes when people want to do a video and they're thinking that my video is whack. Some people can even faint once you raise the camera. You get? So you should celebrate every milestone. And then look, when success becomes an habit, right? When success becomes an habit, that's going to be your life. Celebrate every single thing. When it's more, you celebrate it, you get more of it. Because this life is made up of energy. The energy that you bring throughout is what you're going to get back. As you're excited, you're celebrating, you're excited. Look, we've seen people celebrate the smallest of things, and then a lot of people will respond to it. And people that have done something that is really huge, they don't celebrate it, and nobody's celebrating them. It is what you tell people that you're going to get back. If you call yourself the best, you are the best. That's what they're going to call you. It's what you call yourself, they call you. So that's how I advise, celebrate. Just be happy with yourself. Don't wait, not until when someone clicks on your social media and say, Pam, Pam, I like it that you've done something well. No, you've done well by even putting it out.
I will celebrate myself tonight.
Yeah.
And my second post of yours that I thought was very interesting, from January 22nd, 2021, so last year, you wrote, the things we have heard, seen, and experienced have formed our beliefs. These things either help you grow to achieve great results or keep you thinking the world is against you. So, is your belief helping you? Question.
Right. Now, our brain stores every single information that it gets. The things we hear, the things we see, and the things we experience. All of those things are stored in our brain. And then those things has formed our belief up until today. A lot of people, like we've heard people say that money is the root of all evil. We've heard that a lot. We've also heard things like, if I become rich, maybe my spiritual life is also going to go down, right? Or I've heard things like, become rich, maybe become a bad person, right? And then I want to ask, right? Have you seen rich people that are bad? Have you seen middle class people that are bad? Have you also seen poor people that are bad? So you can see that all of those things, they do not have anything in connection with money. But then again, that has formed people's belief. And how these things work is that subconsciously, when you see that you're getting an opportunity and making a whole lot of money, subconsciously, you just find yourself slowing down because you believed it. And that is drawing you back. So a lot of things that people have heard, a lot of things that people have even seen other people do, and then you believe that that is the way it's supposed to be. So if you now check your life and see that all of these things I've believed in that it's supposed to be, I think about it, when I think about it, this is where I feel, this is the action that I take to see the result that you get in life. Are these things supporting me? Am I growing, or is it holding me back? For some people till today, if those beliefs are not changed, their life, sadly, will not change. So we need to check ourselves today. If all those things I'm thinking about is helping me grow or not. That's why I asked that question.
That's because we all have these platitudes and sayings that we hear over and over that we don't even question. And limiting in a way. So, thank you. Thank you for going through that. As we kind of close and round up, we talked a lot about your career, the impetus, your passion. But I kind of want to get to know you in a deeper way through some quick fire questions, if you don't mind.
Okay.
So I'll just ask a question in rapid fashion and just Whatever comes to your head, just let us know.
Okay.
Okay, first
Okay.
question. Do you prefer Abuja or Lagos?
Abuja.
Okay. What's the best part of living in Abuja?
The best part of being in Abuja, well, traffic is not so much.
Okay, if you're into music, what's your favorite trending Nigerian song right
And that'll be Ghana.
now? Okay. What's your favorite social media app?
Instagram.
What's your number one piece of advice for someone else watching this who wants to be like you, who wants to be a coach in Nigeria?
Nigeria. Seek knowledge. Just seek knowledge. It's important.
Do you have a favorite Nigerian food?
Yeah, Amala.
Okay. You mentioned that you're married. What's the best part of a traditional Yoruba wedding?
Traditional Yoruba wedding. That'll be the live band.
Nice, nice.
The live band.
I noticed that in all of your social media videos and posts, you're always wearing a native traditional outfit. You might not want to reveal, can you give us the plug of the tailor?
Well, I think I even want to change back to wearing shirts. I've worn shirts for a long time. So I said, let me just try. Let me make me look a little more calm.
Yeah.
More calm, yeah.
Okay, are there any other Nigerian mind coaches or self-development coaches that you know of that you'd like to also shout out?
The Catalyst, Larry Olusola.
Okay.
Yeah, great man. Yeah.
You mentioned your book. Can you tell us when you published it?
I think it was in 2019.
Are copies of that book still available?
Yes, love it.
Okay. Do you have a favorite sports team?
Manchester United.
Oh no. Oh no. Best, best place you've traveled?
I think I'll pick Dubai.
Where do you hope to travel?
Where?
Yes. Where do you
The
go?
Bahamas.
Bahamas. Okay. What's the most stressful part of your job?
Marketing.
Okay. What's the best training you've ever done, in your opinion?
The best training. It's called Power of a Millionaire Mind.
I'm interested. All right. As Nigeria heads into our election year, what's your biggest hope for the country?
The biggest hope is that we elect the right leader. That's one of our biggest problems. We don't have the right leadership. Is a big problem in Nigeria. Leadership is a big problem.
They should get
you
you
get that right.
Organization.
Yeah.
All right. What's the best thing about being Nigerian?
We are energetic. We can survive anything. We can survive anything. We are happy people, you know. So
what's the most challenging part?
Being a Nigerian.
Yes.
Yeah, the negative publicity that we get outside of the country. Yeah, it is challenging. Yeah.
Rounding off, last two questions. What's the best advice your parents ever gave you?
I'll say it in Yoruba, which is Emashi Jeje. Just be careful and be gentle.
Translate. Thank you.
Yeah.
I like that. And last but certainly not least, going with the Yoruba closing, can you tell us the meaning of your name?
Okay, my name is Bankole. Bankole in Yoruba means help me or assist me in building the house.
And what a perfect name for you, because you assist everybody in building their internal house.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Banjo, thank you so much for being part of our conversation today. It was very, very interesting.
Thank you so much.
A lot of things. I actually want to pursue some things in my own mind as well. For our audience, can you please tell us where we can find you on social media and elsewhere?
Okay, on Instagram, it's at Bankole, right? And then my website is bankolebanjo.com.
Okay, all right.
So those two places are my major areas here.
All right. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you too. Really honored. Thank you.